Hi folks, I thought I'd do a quick little video after the first sort of half of the Blight League, I guess evening. Sat in queue, first things first, gotta think of a name. What to do? I think I decided to go for the name I Am Not Uberlabbing, as for the first time in a while I will not be doing Uberlab. Decided to do a assassin poison build, as if I'm not doing Uberlab, I didn't want to do a build I've done before. I wanted it to be a new experience doing maps for the first time rather than in that dark Uberlab. Explore some maps, play a skill I've not played with before, and play a class that I haven't played in a long time. So we settled on Assassin because, yeah, Poison got buffed or changed, tweaked, whatever you want to call it, and I haven't played an Assassin for a long time. So coming up are just going to be some clips of kind of what's going on. Little journey through my, I guess, first evening of the league. I'm going to try to do these each day, or as best I can for you, just to keep you up to date for people that don't have time to sit and watch a stream, which I fully understand. So we're using Cobra Lash here, and Cobra Lash seems like, at first initial thoughts were just, wow, this skill seems really strong. As you can see, it's built-in chain, and it's poisoning, and it's just destroying everything. Early on, chaos skills just are naturally strong because less resistant mobs. It's, like we say, built-in chain, huge damage, and we're encountering our first totem. At this point, I haven't really looked up anything to do with the league, which I don't recommend you do. You probably should look up how the league functions, but I like to go in blind. So we're just trying to figure out what's going on. I'm noticing that I was struggling to click some of the totems at first. There was a lot of choices thrown at me and I wasn't really sure what was the best choice or what I was even doing or what I even was looking at this point. So my tactic was just stand outside of the monsters because I weren't sure if they were going to kill me, and then click some turrets and just hope and see what happens. So the first attempt wasn't a successful one, and it left me a little bit like, is this league going to be okay? I'm a bit confused as what's going on, really. Next, we headed up to Kaduku, and as always, when you pass Kaduku on your first run, you've got to kill him. It's sort of like a rite of passage. Maybe he drops you something. This time he didn't. And then we headed to our next totem. So this time I sort of read it a little bit more, and I actually put up all the totems, and I kind of stayed near the portals. I noticed it's kind of like Abyss League, where they spawn these portals, and there's also these totems. So I figured I'd just get a mixture of fire and ice, and maybe I freeze some things, which would give me a bit more time to kill stuff. At this point, that's all I've really noticed about the league. So again, it's feeling a little bit more fun at this point because I'm like, okay, I'm defending, and I'm sort of understanding that you need to protect this pump. So I'm sort of sitting near the pump and I'm trying to keep the turrets up, and we actually managed to pass this one and we got some rewards. I'm immediately basically noticing that it's reskinned Legion League with these crates that give rewards. I got some different oils, and I'm not really too sure what they do. I think they allow you to enchant an item. So as we continue, I'm getting a little bit more used to the league. At this point, I'm kind of getting used to, like, you sort of kill stuff, you spend your money, and you upgrade your turrets, and it becomes a bit easier. And we're starting to get regular rewards. Again, from what I'm noticing, they're just kind of a variant of a Legion chest. This one, for example, has essences and currency. We got a chance orb, and my very first chance orb, I chance orbed movement speed boots. So that was a nice little win. And as we head on to Brutus, we get to see the damage of Cobra Lash, I believe it's called, and it's only a one link effectively. And normally, like, I actually struggle with Brutus because I'm always underleveled. I'm always like rushing through it. And even being slightly underleveled, it felt really clean just to be able to kill it. And yeah, we're just sort of heading through the tree, picking up poison and physical nodes. Again, at this point, each zone, as you know in the league, each zone has the league mechanic. So I actually go through and I do the league mechanic in each zone, which I know slows me down, but, you know, it's new. It's whatever. Our gear at this point is literally just two white weapons. It's a white dagger and a white 3-link claw, and I found a helmet and a 3-link chest piece and some couple of, like, mediocre rings. They have like a tiny bit of life on them and a resist. My amulet I think has like 10 intelligence, which allows me to rank up my blue gem, and it's all very basic stuff. There's nothing fancy. I've picked up the odd alchemy orb, the odd chance orb, and yeah, that's really it. We continue on and we go through the turrets, and at this point I'm kind of getting it. You sit near the pump, you sort of can click from a distance and you manage the turrets. At this point I was kind of favouring just fire everything and just upgrading the fire. It seemed to be working quite well. And then I realised that because it's an abyss, the minimap sort of shows where the bosses travel, so you can sort of just protect the alleyway that looks the most busiest, if that makes sense. So we're doing some bandits, we're doing some trials, and at this point I've managed to find another link and I've got LMP, and that gives me just a few more projectiles, a little bit more clear speed, and the damage is not feeling terribly good at this point at all. So I looked for some new claws. The vendor had some blue claws, and when I went from a dagger and a claw to 2 claws, I got a little bit more damage, obviously, because I'm dual wielding, so I got some bonuses. And we just continued through the whole campaign with these claws, and just as you would when you're leveling, I do the league mechanic. Like I said, I just click the totems. I was struggling to click some of the, I guess you call them nodes or turrets, and that was becoming a little bit finicky, a little bit of, I wouldn't say frustrating, but a little bit like, it was a bit of a, I hope this doesn't become frustrating kind of feeling, because I can imagine if you get in a very strong map, it might be awkward to click them. So we just carried on going through the campaign, doing the turrets, doing the rewards. Didn't really get anything notable, the odd alchemy orb and stuff, but Val Overseer, is it called? I should know that name by now. I've killed it hundreds of times, but yeah, that went down with a breeze, and we continued on just mullering through the campaign. I actually went into my bestiary super early. I never go into the bestiary this early, but I figured, you know what? I'm taking the campaign slow. I'm playing at my own pace this time. I'm not rushing to Uberlab, just playing at my own pace. Figured I'd go in, and I actually turned in a random unique and got Wonderlust. So at this point I've got Wonderlusts, and I'm selling a few things in a 2 alch tab. Now I'm not price checking these, I'm not doing anything. I'm literally just picking up all the rares I find, and if I think to myself that's no good for me, instead of vendoring it, I'm just putting it in a 2 alch tab. Like, if somebody wants to buy it, that's fine, right? I'll sell for 2 alchs, it's early on. Dominus went down relatively well, to be honest, considering it's a 3 link. The damage is nothing amazing, but as a solo self-found, I guess, build, worked really well. And at this point, the turrets, I'm getting more used to how to protect them and where to go, and I'm getting a little bit more rewards, and there we go, mate. Actual pog. We got a tabula. So now I just kind of winged it and put any gem in that looked like chaosy projectile attack speed style, and my damage is pretty good now. I'm sort of going through the campaign at an okay pace. It's nothing amazing. I'm kind of slow because I'm doing all of the new league content, I guess, as I play, but I prefer it that way. You only level once at the brand new league, where things are interesting and you're talking in Discord about how the league feels and the league mechanics. So I'd rather actually interact with it than race ahead and try and be some sort of speed racer. Comb did cost me 1 death because it's Comb and I always die to this guy, but apart from that it was pretty clean, and we just trucked along. No boss caused me any problem. Sometimes with certain builds you struggle with like damage and just overall you can't find anything, but finding that tabula has helped me a lot, obviously. So at this point I've just gone through the campaign, doing the turrets, finding some rewards, and it's been pretty enjoyable. I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I thought. So a little bit of backstory, I guess. I wasn't planning on playing the league at all. I really enjoy Uberlabbing, and with me not wanting to Uber Lab. I didn't really want to do the league because the league looked boring. I know that sounds backwards because some people hate Uber Lab and love mapping. I'm the opposite. I actually love Uber Labbing and I find mapping very, very boring. But so far, I'm enjoying it. We've done our 6 trials and we're now ready to ascend, and I'm going to become an assassin. And I've been reliably informed that the node I take is Mistwalker. So I go ahead and I sort of read what it does. Basically, attack speed, cast speed, and you don't take extra damage from crits. So I figured, yep, that sounds pretty good. So we went ahead and ascended. Opened up some boxes. No mirror, no exalt for me. And yeah, just chucked something on my gloves. As you can see, a few things are selling. Obviously, Val summons skeletons with a little bit of quality sells. And 2 alks isn't a lot, but because I'm chilling and I'm playing at my own pace, I'll sell for 2 alks. At this point, we're now, I believe, Act 5. I've joined Logic. Logic is someone that I played with a lot, and you might have seen his name in Twitch chat. Pretty much, he's playing a Necromancer. I think he's using skeletons or something at this point. And I just kind of wanted to see what his build was like. So we kind of grouped up here for a little bit. And we killed Katava. I took out GMP for this because GMP obviously like loses you a little bit of damage, and with him being there I figured I'd just stand at the back and DPS it. So you can see that I think it said it was about 2.1k without Spectral, without GMPing. So it's doing okay, to be honest. And also, which is pretty funny, or I guess like lucky, Logic also has a Tabula. So there's 4 people in our Discord, and I think 2 of us already have Tabulas drop. So the chance of getting a Tabula drop whilst leveling is pretty damn slim. And 2 of us have got Tabulas, so the luck for the guild is in at the moment. I actually haven't had a lucky start to a league in a long time. Normally I'm doing Uber Lab, I'm Juggernaut Sunder, and I'm getting negative drops. But actually, this league so far, I think I've had 2 Chaos Orbs, a Tabula, some Wonderlusts, and yeah, so it's pretty unethical, right? Wonderlusts and Tabula day 1, or not even day 1, like hour 3 or something. So just before we headed off, because I didn't want to be on all night, I picked out 2 claws from Act 6 and I just alked them, and I think one of them ended up being a little bit better than the one I was currently using. So yeah, obviously a vendor has higher quality stuff, and now I'm in a new act, the vendors have slightly better stuff. So I alked some claws, chucked on a little bit of fizz damage for a few alterations, put some life on a ring, and we're good to go, and that's where I'll rejoin the journey tomorrow. So if you enjoy this content, there's links in the description and ways to support me, because this is just a channel with very small figures and a small, I guess I would call them, hardcore fan base, because it still amazes me that people even watch me, to be honest. But if you enjoy the content and you want to see more and you want to support me, ways to do it in the description. Hopefully you have a good league. I'll see you tomorrow.